Most time, everybody. Hey, Dan, what's up? I missed the countdown. I was sitting here watching it too. Completely missed it. Let's get started. Woot. That's the wrong button. There it is. I can do it right. The slide in. Ah, shit. Void of ones in the system. Hey, boy, thanks for the resub, brother. Appreciate it. Hey, guy, what's up? All right, so this browser issue, guys, is driving me up the freaking wall. So what I have done is I even went through, and I didn't think I could actually do this, but turns out you can actually log in with just a free account and ask Claude questions. So I was asking it a few things and had it vibe code me out an entire idea about this. We're not going to use this idea outright. That would be horrible. What we're going to do is try and see what kind of ideas it was coming up with, playing with, and what options we've got. Almost got the tunnel feature working. Nice, man. Dan, I've got the best web app test I've ever had going this week. Nice, man. Dude, that is awesome. I'm glad you're having success. I've got a hardened client. We get those all the time too, but particularly it's on their external environment, and those are usually extra hardened. A lot of times we'll call it like, M&M security, crunchy, hard outside, but soft, chewy middle. That's how a lot of these companies are. And these guys, no exception. I haven't seen their internal, but their external, very solid, just grasping at straws on a lot of things. But it's also huge. They have just a huge footprint. Full account taken with just one username? Dude. I'll tell you something here in just a second. That's a hilarious story. Dr. Lou, what's up, man? Welcome in. I hope everybody's having a fantastic Saturday. I'm gonna integrate this soon. What is this? Let me see. LangChain Dart? What? Unofficial Dart port of the popular LangChain Python framework. Oh. Very cool. I've been enjoying LangChain a lot. However, I just recently also got acquainted with some of the guys over at Dreadnode. We got synced up. I sent them a PR over for RoboPages for the LangChain integration. So that way they'll have that in the examples and stuff. They've been really cool. They're telling me some stuff about rigging. I'm really thinking I will stick with LangChain and LangGraph going forward. However, I cannot promise that because they obviously really like rigging. These guys are incredibly, stupidly smart. So I told them, hey, when I get to the milestone is 4 primary agents complete and RootMe is complete. That's when we're going to start looking at doing feature enhancements, refactoring, cleaning up code, streamlining stuff before we start adding additional features. One of those features being like adding additional agents to it, right? So we will take a look at rigging at that point. But for now, LangChain and LangGraph have been covering all the bases for everything. So Dan, I got a funny story for you. My team was doing a web app assessment, and one thing we noticed was that they only give us one account to do this. It was a big bank. And was it a bank? No, it wasn't a bank. It was some other financial institution. But anyway, we're doing the assessment for them, and they only gave us one account. So just so we could use that one account, what we're doing is examining the authentication flow just so we can duplicate the tokens so the rest of us could test. There were 3 of us on this assessment. It was a big app. We go in, we're looking at their tokens for their web app. We notice something weird in the request and response, and that there's a field in the beginning like is admin, and it's set to no. And we're like, this can't be this simple. So we go through, we set up an account, a new account, and we just flip that to do is admin true or yes or whatever it was. Bam! Instantly, the brand new account was full admin, had complete access to everything in the app and the underlying host operating system. It was wild. And so we found this on like the first day, just as we're poking around trying to figure out how to copy the tokens so the rest of us could test. It was hilarious. They were shocked when we send them a call, like, because typically, whenever you're doing a penetration test like that, if you find a critical issue like that, you don't wait for the report. You ping your point of contact with the client, and you say, "Hey, we need to have a sit down right now so we can talk about this." And that's exactly what we did. So for them to basically give us access, about 10 a.m. on a Monday, and then at 5 p.m. on Monday saying, "Hey, we need to sit down tomorrow," they were like, "What?" Yeah, it was wild, Boyd. It was wild. So LangChain Dart is meant to be a Flutter-based RAG chatbot workflow. Gotcha. I've been liking LangChain. I know it gets a lot of in the developer circles, it gets a lot of crap about not being super or basically being too bloated or maybe being too abstracted. It's been working great for us. John Chow, thank you for coming online. Welcome in, and hope you're having a fantastic Saturday. I had a really good one today. Although, man, we were supposed to go riding today, and unfortunately, it just didn't work out. Agent Zero's motor is busted. It's blown a seal. It has no compression. So we swapped in a backup motor we had. That motor was having issues. So now we've had a third motor that's been sitting on the workbench that's going to be just a beast of a motor. And eventually we were going to put it in it. So now we're just going to finish up that sucker and put it in. And it's going to probably give him an extra 20% horsepower. And so he's just going to be flying with that thing. When I sent the username and the password reset endpoint, it returns an account JWT as if I actually logged in. No! Bro, that's like a Hollywood hack. That's so bad. You got a Drift G35? Guy, you'd love my neighbors behind me. They've always got cars coming in and out of the parking lot, in their driveway that they're working on. I mean, just all sorts of different high-end cars. They had a GTR out there one time. They had I think it was an Audi A6 that they were working on and tuning up. It was cool. It's neat to see whatever they're working on. Let me check something here. I'm trying to, before I start digging through all this massive code dump that Claude did, because check this out. Here's what I told it. Let me see if I can blow this up a little bit. So I told it, hey, there's a web browser agent called browser use, gave it the link. I told it to replicate the functionality as a LangGraph agent. It should connect to a Docker container set up with PatchWrite, which is basically an offshoot of Playwright, and used to set up a Chromium browser and serve an MCP server with an HTTP transport layer. So what I'm hoping is by switching this from standard IO to HTTP, we haven't messed with MCP very much. What we could do is we can spin up the container and then just have the connection occur across it and have it be good. So this is something so I looked through the code as it was spitting it out. It looks interesting. I actually already done something similar to this in a different chat, and so I spun this one up just for the stream here. But we're going to dig through it a little bit. I'm trying to decide, though, if this is the best use for it, or could we have PatchWrite, because PatchWrite is a plugin replacement for Playwright. If we could have it installed to a particular location, what we could potentially do is have an install script for browser agent, have it set everything up inside the browser agent folder, get Chromium set up, all the other directories that it needs, and rather than having it act on a user basis, have it act in like that local contents of that folder. And if that's the case, then we could run it locally. I would prefer to have it all running in a Docker container, but there's certain benefits you get to having it run like over CDP versus having actual Playwright or PatchWrite run the browser. There's other interactions you can get with it. It gets a little bit funky. I literally shot an email to the client at 3 a.m. and I was like, yeah, we need to have a meeting. What were you doing testing at 3 a.m., bro? Come on. Work-life balance, Dan. What is this? This is from AnyDesk. Let's check this out, guy. Browser Tools embeds AI code editors and agents directly into your web browser. Oh, neat. What does it do here? So with this MCP server tool, you can enable AI code editors and agents to have access to console logs, XHR screenshot capabilities, run SEO. That might be interesting. I mean, I think we should be able to do everything we need to with Playwright. It's just, I don't think there's an out-of-the-box solution that's going to be coherent for us. So I'm really hoping tonight, or at least tomorrow night, to put the nail in this coffin of the browser so we can get back to the exploit agent. I want to get back to the exploit agent. It was doing a great job so far, and I want to get its dang browser and then go back to like the exploitation and feedback loop, everything, because it was getting the idea. It's doing so good. It's doing fantastic. All right, let me see something here. I like this idea though. I'm gonna keep this one in my hip pocket, guy. Always good to have more options. All right, let me see here. So this is from 2022. What I'm trying to see is, hey, can we have Playwright, also PatchWrite, installed to a particular directory? Can we have it put it in a controllable space for us? This guy's asking basically the same question. I'd recommend configuring Jenkins with a CR executable path environment variable and use that when you launch Chromium. Since you want to have this environment variable locally, yada yada. What else do we got here? There are Chrome paths too, but it isn't maintained. So this is annoying too, because one thing I wanted is, hey, rather than installing it into some weird janky location, it's like, hey, could we just install it to a predictable path inside here? So one thing I also did is, where is it? Here it is. Inside here, I decided to go ahead and start taking inspiration from Comfy UI. Comfy UI, essentially what you do when you add a new processing node into Comfy is you drop a folder in and it's got predictable file structure to it. So that's what I've done here, is made this folder. We'll have some things in here that we can go through to adjust. Hey, Sid, what's up, man? Cobalt Striker Sliver have built-in implants with this now for C2. Not sure Sliver supports it. What they have built-in implants for what, Sin? I'm lost. Yeah, that's what it sounded like, guys, that you basically install it. So what we need to do, though, to have it in the container is we need to have something kind of running locally or some way to pass that MCP over. Right, hold on, let me take a look at it real quick. What MCP configuration is it using? Let's see. So you get the extension, you install it. It's probably you install it as an unpacked, yeah. And so after you install it, what's the MCP configuration? I can zoom in here. Did I miss it? Let me see. Yeah, let's look at this. So this again is using standard IO. And so standard IO inside the Docker container, if we're doing like one in, one out, like, hey, process something, send me back data, that's been fine. For these long running conversations though, it's not running all that fantabulous. Or at least it may have been. I'm not sure. Since I think it was you who pointed out the TAC T option was what was screwing everything up in Docker. It's not necessarily such a big deal. Oh, C2 powered screenshots for agents in a multiplayer C2 mode. C2 infrastructure is using MCP a lot these days. Yeah, it's kind of funny, isn't it? All right, let's see here. So yeah, so that one running as a standard IO transport layer is still going to be kind of wonky. Here's where it stores the browser. Okay. You should Google it. The dick. Let's see. So I like Playwright. I like Patchwright. However. So, okay. Since that idea is kind of busted, let's try something here. Actually, hold on. It may not be busted. Let me look at something. Because he was talking about a particular environment variable we could potentially set. Configure Jenkins with the CR executable path environment variable and use it when you launch Chromium. What is this path variable doing then? Or this environment variable? It's been deprecated. I mean, that was an old post anyway. That was from 2022. Just wanted to see what they had going on with it. All right, so let's see what Claude's master plan was. So one thing that's cool is I had not messed with Claude in this aspect. Actually, I'd always used it over the API. So it was interesting to see how their interface is working here. So what it did is it went through a very lengthy process here of configuring everything that I asked it to, but I don't know the quality of it. So we're gonna analyze it and break it down. Let's take a look at this. So this is a LangGraph browser use agent with Patchwright MCP integration. So they're bringing in a lot of stuff in here. A lot of this is probably not going to, if I use this, what I'm going to do is probably like I did with the RoboPages stuff, where it's going to give me the idea and we're going to break it out. Hopefully the only thing we'll actually need is the Docker container portion. See, like this stuff right here, like the MCP server config, this is not what I'd be using. This would be dynamic. Localhost would be correct though, because we go through and we would configure it and set it up differently. Let's see. Browser action model for structured outputs. So we have action, selector, text URL, yada, yada. All right, so for the MCP client for communicating with the server, we set up a couple things in here. We have an async enter, async exit, await the session to close. We have a maker request, create a browser session, navigate, click an element. Okay. Let's see. We have text extraction, which these are all pretty, I mean, straightforward here. Actually, let me look at this make request option again. Let's see here. What are we doing with this? So it looks like this is just going to the browser. If I could run this locally on the machine, it would be a different story. However, not being able to control kind of where it's going, and I don't want HackBot to take over the entire machine. That defeats the purpose of it. Eventually, HackBot itself is going to migrate into a Docker container. Hence the reason why everything is kind of being containerized. Let's see. This is kind of cool though, because I was thinking about trying to roll a copy of browser use over into LangGraph. Let's see. So planner, browser action, analyzer, error handler for these different nodes. Oh, interesting. So the graph build they built into the browser agent. Okay. I like that idea actually. Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. But should continue. Check if we got errors or completed or next. Tells us basically what this is doing is this is the router function. Says essentially where we should go next in this list up here, or what it's going to return. And then the conditional edge right here says, hey, this is where we should go. If it's continued, now I'll go to that. If it's continued, go to browser action. If it's analyzed, go to the analyzer, yada, yada. Let's see, there's our planner node with our nice little messages prompt. What else do we have here? We do an A invoke on the language model. I say it spit out quite a lot, so there's going to be a ton to go and kind of come through here. Now, one thing we might also be able to do is keep this real simple in the beginning and actually jump to one of the artifacts it had in here. So one of those artifacts is, let's see, Python requirements. Now, where is it? Where's the Docker container creation? This is the Docker startup script. Like I said, it actually got pretty thorough. I was impressed because I have not used Claude 4 very much. And I said, I haven't. So I want people to think like I'm completely against using AI tools. And even though I've been avoiding that the entire project, with the exception of the RoboPages integration, what I don't want to do is remove the struggle from myself while I'm trying to learn some of this stuff. And the reason is because the struggle is what promotes growth. And so we have gone through for 3 weeks, basically 6 streams of fighting with this, looking for options, trying to find workarounds, compromises. And that's a good struggle to have. We learned a lot about Playwright. We learned a lot about PatchWright. We learned a lot about how Chromium sets up some of the browsers and the containers. So now it's like, okay, can we just get a functioning option and then figure out kind of where we messed it up? Let's see. Do you know how to get a Cobalt Strike license, man? I have a security module I wrote to trap C2 in a kernel. I found the best C2 is paid. Sliver looks like the best alternative for RC any shellcodes. Actually, I don't know how to get a what is it? How to get a Cobalt license, other than you have to contact them. I think it wasn't very cheap though, Sin. It's pretty pricey for Cobalt Strike and the others. I want to say it's a couple grand a year. So, I mean, unless you've got something where maybe you can reimburse that from work and get your own Cobalt license or something like that. I don't know, man. What's funny is, oh, they have a free preview version? Nice. That might work for you then. One thing that I thought was really funny is back in the day before Cobalt Strike got bought out, that thing broke. One of the things before Cobalt Strike was purchased, they actually had an article about how to jailbreak Cobalt Strike and get it for free, because so many people were pirating it and all the pirated copies had backdoors built into them. Go figure. So I think you can actually still find it on Archive. So here's our Docker Compose configuration. However, I don't know, did it actually make us a Docker file? Ah, here it is. So it did this from Node 18 Bullseye. Install a bunch of dependencies. We copy over the package in the MCP server and a requirements.txt. Why are we copying the requirements.txt? And why are we installing the requirements in the Docker container? Oh, wait. That's kind of weird. Like, so it's stuff like this that doesn't quite track in how it spit this out, because we have connections to it, but this doesn't run the server, right? This was our Python 3 code. Oh, actually, this does run the MCP server. What? That's weird. Hold on. So here's our MCP client class. Did it actually implement an MCP? No, there's the browser agent. Yeah, see, this is wonky. Like, there's stuff in here that this is an idea and it's good, but like we shouldn't need Python for this. MCP would be completely over in the JS. And notice how it didn't even make that. So MCP server.js. Okay, this would be the next thing down here. And see, I'm so tired of writing JavaScript too. I'm still tired of it. I haven't written like hardcore JavaScript in 4 years. I'm still tired of it. Hi, Kratos. Hey, Nora. What's up? Happy Saturday. It's funny because this is my buddy Salty's shirt. He was on the stream with me for a while. We were doing like intro to hacking, and Yeah, it does look like Kratos, doesn't it? All right, so this is actually kind of cool. Let's see. No, it's not. This is my buddy Salty. This was his shirt from his stream. And so he stopped streaming now because he's been working a lot to save a bunch of money. He used to stream pretty frequently. What else can you use instead of JavaScript? I mean, not much because Playwright usually requires JavaScript. It is kind of interesting to see how it's setting this up, though. Let's see. And the main thing is, like I said, the reason I wanted it to do this is because I wanted this to be able to do this over HTTP MCP. So let me read this a little bit. So here's our PatchWrite MCP server. This is supposed to actually process a JSON RPC. So hold on, what are we installing here? So we got Express Course, PatchWrite, and UUID. Now the kicker is here, I don't see MCP server happening here. So this will be interesting. Unless it's just doing this all by hand, which actually I really kind of hate. Here. So here's where PatchWrite is actually launching Chromium. Wait, hold on. We did install PatchWrite. Hold on, PatchWrite has a JavaScript version to it also? No way. There is a PatchWrite Node.js. Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense then if it's just supposed to be a direct port over. All right, so for the routes, we're getting health, we got browser create. And then what are we going to return for this? Let's see. But here's the JSON we're going to be returning right here. I mean, pretty straightforward. If nothing else, one thing we could do is perhaps... Let me look at something real quick, because what we could do is if we could get a copy of the Playwright Docker container, how it is set up, sub in PatchWrite, make that work, go fix whatever browser dependency issues we've got different in there, get those kind of sorted out, and then have that submitted. But I wonder what it's doing. Let me see. Playwright Docker MCP. Wait, no, this is Sketch, actually. So even though it's got the Microsoft logo, look, it's the user is MCP. And so this is just potentially some random user. I mean, it says verified publisher, but that kind of sketches me out a bit. Ah, here's the repo for it. Let's see. And the Docker file. So let's go take a look at that. Because that's one thing we could also potentially do is come in here and basically modify this to where... Let's see what it's doing. So it starts with node 22. We mount a builder in here. And then here's where it runs npx playwright. So what we could do is instead of necessarily installing playwright, install... what is it? Install PatchWrite instead. And that would be as simple as, hey, we do a git clone, we modify these run commands, and then let it do its thing. Let's see here. I had an argument with an EDR vendor, and I feel more stronger than your EDR becomes as a system level. The better your network IDS and IPS behavior analysis matures, not otherwise. With your EDR, just blandly sensing traffic, pushing to a SIM. Yeah, I mean, a lot of network analysis, I think, I haven't been in that game for a bit. I'm not sure what's the new hotness in like network analysis as it's going through there. I do remember though, of all the things that I've seen, the one system that was really good at catching intrusions or especially pivoting activity, right? Because let's look at this. So what happens whenever an attacker infiltrates a system, right? Typically, they've got the internet over here, they're connected to it. There's usually some kind of like corporate firewall going on right here. And then you're traversing across that into some victim machine here, right? And then this victim could potentially be pivoting to another victim. Maybe let's say over SMB, right? And then we could have another one coming up here also to SMB. So how do you catch this from a network perspective? And let's say these guys are on different networks, so you're having to make router hops in here. There was a technology for that called NetFlow, and very few people actually implement it correctly. Of all the times I've mentioned NetFlow, I've had exactly one person say, yeah, we have NetFlow logging set up and we monitor everything. And we look specifically for activity like this, where the traffic has to bounce, 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 because this is going to make a signal right here. The signal is, hey, this guy received traffic that went here, and then he immediately initiated traffic here, and then here. And you'll start seeing this kind of loop occur right here. And NetFlow is the only thing I've seen that really tracks that level of information, and I've seen exactly one company implemented correctly. Hey, Swish, what's up, man? Greater than 10 followers have ever installed NetFlow. Is that what CFlow D? What is CFlow D? Oh. This is the Ligma. Oh, okay. I actually had not seen CFlow D. Oh, it's the old open source dam. Gotcha. Yeah. Usually the only time I had seen NetFlow was in like Cisco land, essentially, because I was neck deep in Cisco land for a long time. Try this. Look at something real quick. Since we know that Right has its own JavaScript version, and it should be just plug and play. What if we could do this? Let me see here. Actually, hold on. Before I get too far into this, I do want this. Let me duplicate that tab and look at something real quick. All right, so here's the Playwright MCP. Yeah, see, even this one's going to be using standard I/O. You can tell because there's no network connection to this, right? It's just npx run this, right? All right, I want to try something with this actually. And it says we can, so it looks like this is all pointing to legit systems in here. MCP is a verified publisher. It looks a little funky, but I want to try something here. I'm going to go grab this container real quick. There it is. Copy that. Let's go get something to go here before we get too far down into the weeds. Let me exit out of this. Clear. Do I have anything running right now? I've got two of those running. So let's do Docker stop. Let's see. Come on. There we go. So DS and browser stop R. Let me stop both of those containers. I just want to try something here real quick. Let's see here. At least pull this one real quick. So we're going to pull the latest playwright here. Because I want to see if I could just get it to work with Playwright. Like, hey, can we just have it do the thing where it's going to browse to the site and give us an example of like, hey, this is what it's seeing. So in this case, it's running npx and it's running Playwright MCP latest. But if we look at the Docker container down here, what we're doing is we're running Node CLI.js in headless browser Chromium no sandbox. So let me go look at the. We look at the CLI.js real quick. Let's see what it's doing. Is this actually starting up the MCP server? I hate when they do this crap. Look at that. All right, so lib. Wait, where's lib program.js? Oh, it will be program TS in here. So they are installing MCP transport.js. So this is coming in from server config. Wait a second. Is this actually... That's weird. Hold on. What is it doing here? Hey, Netsick Lab. What's up, man? Saturday. Let's see what we got going on here. Config.server. Where is this being implemented from? Hold on. Oh, so it's coming from Playwright core lib server. I want to see what this server configuration here is. Crap, where did it come from? I forgot already. It's config.server. Let's see, and that's being imported. Oh, just from config.js. Okay. Which is really going to be config TS because this is all in TypeScript. Let's see. The resolve CLI config function called in that last file. We duplicate this real quick. See, because I've never even used Playwright before. See, so that would have been program TS here. Here we go. That's not what I wanted. Config.server. Oh, so this comes from fixtures. Script. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I see what you're talking about, Brian. So yeah, it's coming from right here. So it's const factory config.browser. Where does config actually get? There it is. So yeah, from resolve CLI config with options. Okay, so our options are populated from here. Actually, what options do we even have here? Can we tell it to run different things? So we know that it's going to be running headless browser, Chromium no sandbox. So like, here's headless. Browser would be Chromium. Let's see. There's no sandbox. So there's no option, at least in the CLI here, to kick off anything other than like a standard I/O one. Hang on one sec, guys. Hey guys, hang on one sec. Honey Badger's trying to make a break for it. I gotta go contain him. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Ah, crap. Dropped my headphones. But I'm backwards now. All right, so it's taking the config, serialized out of the configuration module, spawns an async backend as the factory, and then it spawns a series of worker services for the inbound threads. Gotcha. Then it lets it take a single MCP verb and optionally attach it to one of the workers we serviced. Okay. Wait, hold on. Look at this. This says host here. Host to bind the server, which is default local. It's like, wait a second. So is this, what transport are we actually using here? Can we use, because here's what I've been thinking has been happening is, because we're using a standard IO MCP, it's kicking on the container every single time, right? So every time we need to make an action, which happens frequently as it goes through the loop and it makes the tool call, it's basically spinning up a new, or it's reinitializing the container, right? It's very inefficient. So my thinking was, if we had it running over an HTTP transport, then we can just have the container be up. We have one line of code that says, hey, yeah, start the container, wait for it to finish. Once it's up, then we can just repeatedly make HTTP calls to it. Let's see. So this allows things to have all the functionality defined as the module for Playwright, which then takes the configuration object at runtime and decides what it should be doing and how to do it, etc. Setting host will spawn the HTTP lister, which could then service an HTTP streaming connection. Well, that's all I really wanted, Brian. Dude, you are a goldmine tonight. Because this was an issue we're constantly running into with the current iteration here. Let me go set it, find it real quick. Because what we were doing is basically having it do like this with a Docker exec, go exec into the container, try to connect to it, tried a bunch of different things back and forth. Some of them had too much functionality, some of them didn't have enough. Eventually, what I'd like to have is just the browser and Playwright as an MCP provider with tools that the browser agent can go use. So basically, if you set host, it'll then have some check which goes if config.host and import TCP, blah, blah, blah. Beautiful. Because then we could actually go through and maybe get it to be a little bit more sustaining. Because what we could have is up here with the Docker SDK, have it go through, spin up the Docker container, let it sit and listen, and then down here for our MCP server client list, just have it connect to that HTTP endpoint. The Docker container can stay up and be good. That would be amazeballs. Okay. If that's the case, let me go check something real quick then. So this was in source program TS over here. Let me look at patch write. Is this patch write? Yeah, here we go. So for patch write Node.js, let's see. Wait, how does this one work? Patch write is a completely, I mean, I know it's a different implementation, but it looks way different from what I was expecting, having just looked at the playwright code. Hold on, what's in the package JSON? Let me see. Dev dependencies are TS and YAML. That's it? Check out the main patch write driver repository. Take a look at this real quick. And the only reason I'm looking at using patch write is because patch write would, in theory, be a little bit more stealthy, or in the eventuality that we want to have HackBot go start doing some cloud stuff. So you run the Docker container with the command line arguments that you want. Also, make sure you have the publish command in there, or tac publish. Okay. Here's my instantiation using Podman. So we use Podman, run it, name playwright, pivot the network, publish, what volume it's got, and have playwright MCP. Okay. What does tac vision do? Legacy option, caps vision instead. Commerce server a list of additional capabilities to enable her. So you can also use vision or PDF. Oh. Interesting. Okay. Well, cool, man. Hang on. I gotta take some notes real fast because you're giving me gold here. I'd be a fool not to. I'm gonna put it down here at the bottom of the to-do list. Copy this over here real quick. There we go. Just so I have a copy of what you were running over here. Okay. Because what I was hoping is I have to update my system D and quadlets. Yeah. I hate when they switch commands. Like, it looks like, I mean, at least it says it's a legacy option, right? And so, at least with that, they still support it, right? Dude, speaking of right, did you guys see... Oh my god, you just reminded me. Hold on. I've been dying over this. I don't want to go... I can't find it. Dang it. I have to see if I can dig it up somewhere else. I don't think this is going to actually show it. It's going to be like, yeah, log into Facebook. I don't want to. Okay. Hold on. I have to check all this. And I'm going to apologize if it's too loud. But check this out. Hang on. This was a package thief here. So he just tried to steal a package, and it blew up in his hands. Oh my god! You okay? Oh my... And then the dude, bro sits here and argues with him for forever about it. I've been dying over that. You okay? Oh, I just had to share that. It's been cracking me up all day. Yeah, okay. Jeez. Freaking thieves, man. It reminds me of the guy from Gone in 60 Seconds. Like, you know the first thing about stealing cars. Boy, you need a role model. When he tries to carjack him. Oh, too funny. Alright. I like this. Now the question is here, can I adapt this? And basically, I can't take this word for word, right? But I think what I could do is make a minor modification to this Docker file here and go use it to install the Patchwright version. I want to say that this is really... How do we actually make this work? You know what? For now, we don't need it. I'm going to keep Patchwright in the back end because I don't need to use it at the moment. I really wanted to. But let's try this real quick. Let's come and... We'll go ahead and clone out this repo. Oh, wait. Actually, I already pulled that Docker container, didn't I? Yeah, we did. We don't even need that. Okay, snap. So let's try this then. If we've already got this up and running, hopefully we can just run it. We can then install it over into there, and then we can try and make it work. If I make the tunnel work, are you willing to try my app on stream? Yeah, man. I'll give it a go. I'll play with it. You know me. I just like to have fun. Hack around and find out. Let's see. So, yeah, so we've got all this going over here. Let me look at the command you sent me real quick. So in this case, I'm going to copy this. Bring it down here because I'm going to modify it for now because we're not using isolated networks for the containers. Let's see. So we're going to publish 8931. Let's see. For a volume, I'm not so worried about the volume right now. Actually, hang on. So this is... Hey, Brian, this is a little bit different syntax than I'm used to for the volume. Because I see a path, and then a letter. So what this should be is this would be our local path here. This is the path of the container. I don't know what this is. Oh, that's an SE Linux context. Yeah, we're not concerned about that. Okay, I actually do want to use this though, and what I'm going to do is, let me come over here. Can I copy the path of this? Copy path. Absolute path, for now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this right here. We'll put that in here, and then we'll make that /data go to /data. Because eventually what we'll need to do is we will, and the reason why I was trying to necessarily not use, or I was trying to use the full Playwright instead of just going with like Chrome DevTools protocol is because it's going to make certain actions like uploading files a lot easier, where we can actually go have the full interaction of like opening the dialog and selecting and things like that. At least that was my understanding from what I was reading. Yeah, I think we should be good here. I'm writing up a gist to explain all of it. Nice. I do like a good gist. Right, so should have that right there already. Although this, I think, would be just Playwright TAC MCP. Hold on, let me go look up what container we've got. Docker images. Was this the one we just pulled? Yeah, MCP playwright. Okay, so this one, we're using a slightly different path to it because we're using it from MCP from Docker Hub, but it should still work. I need to go through and clean up some of these. That's fine. All right, so MCP playwright. Okay, make sure we got that right there. Actually, you know what? I'll probably just leave this in there for now. I'll clean up those containers later. Okay. So for us, we're not using Podman, we're using Docker because I'm a terrible corporate shill, apparently. Look at this. All right, well, didn't like that. That's fine. What we'll do. What was again? MCP/playwright links. Here. Let's do MCP playwright playlist. Okay, you know what? Since this is, I'll go ahead and use the official version. Cap equals vision. We'll go ahead and do. Let's do that. All right, so it should be listing on 8931. We're passing over 8931, which is fine because what we can do is eventually these ports will become kind of dynamic. We'll have a designated range of ports for it, or we'll have it like on its own Docker network where it's like, hey, these are just the MCP connections. I don't know if I'll do it that way yet, but this will work. Oh, it's cats. Oh. Right, so here's our playwright URL. Let's go try this. If this works, I'm gonna be so mad. Actually, I might just be able to copy the entire thing right here. Let's see this. So let's see if this, because this is the multi-server MCP client from LangChain. See if it works. Yeah, so all we did was we created a very simple React agent. We passed the tools over. The tools get populated from our client get tools, and we've got it going on here. Okay. Let's go try it out. Let's see what happens. Rip. Missing transport key in the server config. That's what I thought it was going to do. That's all right. Let's back it up. So there's our command, our browser. Got to see how to meld these two together. Where? I got to remember what this library was. Let me see if it actually if the doc string just tells us what we need. Oh, so for weather, I think we just actually need to give it, in this case, the URL. The formatting's a little funky here. This is the comment, and we give it URL and then the transport, and we say the transport is going to be streamable HTTP. Okay. Easy peasy. So we can take out these args right here, and what we'll do is we're going to give it the URL, and our URL is going to be this guy right here. Grab that. Drop this sucker in. All right, cool. So this will be our, I'm just going to call it browser. I mean, this works perfect. All right, let's try it now. Except now, dang it, I didn't change the damn transport. What's it? Streamable HTTP. That's what we want. That should be good right there. Ooh. Yeah, I know I'm using the old async version. I'll fix it later. I just need you to work right now. Wait a second. Did I take out? Oh, no, I did leave the env file. All right, cool. So one thing we can do to check this, let's go look in the LangChain. Go ahead and continue. That's the wrong interface. There we go. But the good news is we see something running here, right? It shows that the graph is running. Browser navigate. Now, hold on, let me see if this is the correct one. 726. Yeah, this is from today. Browser takes screenshot. Oh, it's doing stuff. Let's go. Progress. This thing has been beating my ass up and down for the last 3 weeks. Oh, I still need to go make a donation to charity because we did hit 50 points on the swear jar. This thing's really going, though. Look at that. I would have thought it'd been done by now. This is the only way I can see it right now, even though here in the code, we actually could have put a thing to like, hey, come out. Oh, no, it's finished. Nice. Heck yeah. I forgot what's... hold on. We'll just look at the whole thing. So if we come up here, we click on the main body, it's going to give us the whole shebang. We can see the entire conversation, what it's doing. And then if we click into individual portions, like, hey, what was this tool call here? We can see the individual pieces. So this is one of the things I really like about how it works. Supposedly we burned 44,000 tokens, or 912 completion tokens. This probably cost us about 14 cents, is what it's estimating it to be. All right, so our human input is browse to hmpg.net and describe the page, which, by the way, if you're wondering what the page looks like, congratulations. You have reached the end of the internet. That's what this page is. So as we come through here, let's see. So our output is, that was our input, human. So we'll say, hey, I'm going to try to browse to this and describe the page. So we send a browse navigate. It goes there. Browse navigate says tool exception. We need, oh, so it threw an exception because it didn't give a URL. See that? It just gave a host address. So one of the things we might be able to tell it is, hey, by the way, before you call these tools, make sure you are using full URLs. It's fine. Actually, I want to look at something real quick. For tools, here we go. So here's where we can see all the tool calls that we have available, right? So we can press a key. We can do all this jazz right here. So for navigate, we can look at this one. Notice how it says the URL to navigate to. That's a little bit ambiguous. That's probably why the language model just said, oh, hmpg.net instead of like http:/hmpg.net. But anyway, it's fine. It's fine. This is all fine. Especially for a React agent, this is a very, very simple agent. So now it does pick up the correct page. It comes over here. It renders the page, which is nice. Let me take a screenshot. We take a screenshot. Tool exception. No current snapshot available. Capture a snapshot or navigate to a new location first. Please fix your mistakes. Okay, so that's weird. Seems the page may have changed. Let me navigate to the URL again. So it navigates there. Takes a screenshot, or tells it to take a screenshot. It finally errors out. I think it finally gives up on it. Travels to it again. Okay, so it gives up on the screenshot, which is fine. Wait, hold on. Did it actually get the screenshot? I don't think so. Browser snapshot every time it's something of like about blank. I think the reason for that is probably because if we come look at this tool call here, right? Where's our tools? So this is the one that was run. All we had was URL. What was the information that came back? Oh, that one errored out. Let me look at this one. Is this really all the output that we got? Because what I was thinking is it's probably losing track of where it is as far as taking the snapshot. That's really weird. So for some reason the browser... Hold on, what options do we have here? I can't type. Snapshot. Just have it do a test real quick. Hold on. Let's see. App should test page. Let me see. Is that 5 stars works in China? Not what I was looking for though. What I want is like something here. So we need to, I wanted to see if it can browse here and click I'm a human. But actually, hold on, let me go look at something real quick. So for this tool that it's presenting, so we have browser snapshot, which capture accessibility snapshot of the current page. This is better than a screenshot, okay? Doesn't take any arguments. So is there a screenshot one too? Yeah, we have to take screenshot also. Kinslayer, what's up, man? What were we up to tonight? Welcome in, man. Let's see. Yeah, that my Jocko game. Oh yeah. Not sponsored by Jocko yet. Working on it. Working on some Try Hack Me. Me too. Just with this little AI agent, which thankfully, thanks to some awesome help by Brian Redbeard, we're actually making some good progress, and it is finally talking to this. Now the cool thing is, I think this I almost want to call it jive code because I'm that old. But some of this code that Claude spit out, I think actually might be helpful because now what we could do is connect that to the MCP in the Docker container and have it go. Which Try Hack Me were you working on, Kinslayer? And if you got to run and go get food, I understand it. Don't worry about feeling like you got to stick around and chat. I understand. I'm a human. Verify. Okay, cool. What about H caption? What do I have to do? Please cook on the flower with the most petals. Huh. Interesting. Not that I really care if it's going to solve captchas because I don't need that right now. I just thought it'd be something interesting to look at. What I need is I need a page where it can go browse to it and look at stuff. I tell you what, I got an idea. Doing some PowerShell in the cybersecurity 101 path. Nice. It's not that I dislike PowerShell, but PowerShell syntax can sometimes just be absolutely atrocious. I have the same problem with Rust. I like Rust. I think it's an interesting language. I think it's got good properties to it. The syntax looks like JavaScript, Python, and Perl had a baby, and only the bad syntax genes got passed on. That's exactly what it looks like. mixed in with some Egyptian hieroglyphics. Let me look at something quick. I wanted to try to get it to, like, search around. Hold on. Let me try something. Hang on one sec, guys. I think I hear Honey Badger again. Okay, nope. He is finally asleep. By the way, for anybody who doesn't know, Honey Badger is my my younger son. And he's 3 years old. Used to be codenamed APT, the aggressively persistent toddler. Now he's codenamed Honey Badger because he has no F's to give. Thank you, my dear. And he hates bedtime. He is 100% my son. He wants to stay up till midnight and sleep until like 10 a.m. He is 100% my little clone. Which makes me, you know, both happy and sad. It makes me happy because I have a little clone. It makes me sad because I remember all the trials and tribulations I went through. And I'm trying to, from a very early age, get him prepared for that and learn how to get that stuff under control way before I did. Because I didn't really get a lot of my problems under control until about junior year in high school. And so I really want to encourage him from the beginning and help guide him down that path. My dad, God rest his soul, and as much as I love him, he was not really good at that. My dad, when he was in high school, was in the seminary. He was planning on becoming a priest and went very far through that before he finally discerned out of the priesthood. So his understanding of growing up like that was completely foreign from like what me and my brothers went through. He did the absolute best he could, and he was absolutely a fantastic father. But that was one of his big challenges, was trying to relate to us about a lot of things that we went through going through public school, which he didn't. Still don't have my problems under control. Dude, I've got other problems now. I mean, just as soon as I get them under control, new ones pop up. Don't feel bad. It's just a part of the game of life. All right. What I'm thinking here is, I want to try something. I'm in incognito mode, so this is like super stealthy. Okay, not what I wanted. Okay, I'm gonna try another example here, and it's probably gonna get blocked, but I want to try this. Browse to GitHub. I'll give it the actual address here. So let me come over to this. I'm gonna get this address though. GitHub.com/BlaiseBits. Let's see, and look for repositories related to Cobalt Strike. I'm going to tell it to navigate to the repository, and describe the README page. There, nice misspelled repository. There we go. I want to see if it can actually go through and navigate and click and do some other stuff. And then I'm going to try another test on it real quick. Oh, for some reason I did this a little bit differently. Let me take this out. Boop. And what we're going to do is make this the init query. So I'm going to try this now. So it actually is going to go reach out to the internet. I'm going to try and have it hit this and see what it does. This error is okay. It's because I'm using a little bit of a deprecated system. I'll go through and I'll put in a proper async later. It's fine. This is fine. But more importantly, we come over here. We should see a new LangGraph chase appear here. Perfect. Okay, so it navigated. Navigate to BlaiseBits, found all the information, and then we had a click. What do we click in here? Tool exception. Rip. No current snapshot available. Capture a snapshot to navigate to a new location. Oh, really? Okay, so then we try the snapshot. And unfortunately, we get an about blank, which is suboptimal. So then we have it do another navigate. Did it capture the snapshot? Let's see. No, it had to do a browser click. Don't tell me this. Did it die already? No, it's still processing. We see it going here. This can just take a second to show up sometimes. There we go. Okay, so did the click actually work? Okay, so the tool exception here is no current snapshot available. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel this because I think there's something in our very basic React agent that it's not getting, perhaps. And so we might have to go through and do a little bit of work on it. This shows the system D unit I use to make the service persistent across reboots and explains how it works. Maybe take a look at it. This setup is opinionated. How dare you? How dare you? Did you just throw this together? Because this is pretty legit. All right, Kid Slayer. I understand, man. Especially after you've just been finished streaming and studying at the same time. I get it, man. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping in. No, appreciate you. By the way, guys, if you want to see folks, I plugged this at the end of the stream too. But over here, like Slyborg is online. Someone else is finally online on a Saturday night. But infosecstreams.com, it is a fantastic website. And so if you like cybersecurity content, this is a great place to go check it out. Usually between, I'd say, I don't know, 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. kind of central time, there's lots of folks on here. Usually this late at night, it's one or two of us. Kinslayer, Slyborg, yeah, myself, you know. You even include differences between Docker and Podman. Oh. I used to. You're wrong. Save. There we go. Let's save that so I can check through this. Because I like this. Not that I'm going to need it for this system, but I do want to go look through it and see, get like some of your ideas on it. All right, I'm thinking here, what is happening? Let's come back over here. This run should be done here. I think I killed it, didn't I? Yeah, we interrupted it. Okay. So it looks like probably what we'll need to do is come through and reconfigure this thing where it's going to be doing it. But actually, so the good news is it's working. I think there's some Playwright-isms here that I don't have down. Because like I said, I'm not very familiar with Playwright. The error we're getting, right, from this tool call. So it's navigating okay, right? It's hitting it. But whenever we send the click, it's saying no current snapshot is available. So let me go look at this real quick. Capture a snapshot or navigate to a new location first. And so what I think it's doing is I think it's not getting it properly. I was hoping to avoid this with the streaming HTTP one, but what I think is happening here is this, because we saw this a bit with the standard IO version too. And I'd prefer not to do this over standard IO either. But I believe what's happening here is the agent, right, is over to our, this would be Playwright. But our MCP is making an HTTP response, or HTTP request here. And then when it's returning the response, it's basically spawning, let's call this like browser 1, right? Then when we make the next request, it's basically spawning like browser too, right? And then coming back. So there has to be a way in here for it to say, hey, this is the browser session we want to use every single time when this happens. Let's see if we can find that. Let me write MCP. What is this? Can you translate this for me? I also encountered. Thanks. Good to know. This is an N8N node MCP. Let's see. Playwright will fail a test if no snapshot already exists. Okay. So how do we do this? What is a playwright snapshot? So with playwright snapshot testing and asserts can the accessibility tree of a page against a predefined snapshot template. All right. So didn't we actually had a tool in here to create those snapshots, right? Let me see. Yeah, browser snapshot. Capture accessibility snapshot of the current page better than the screenshot. Okay. I think it can be stateless or stateful. If you want multiple states, you run multiple instances. So you can run a single instance for a user for the duration of the job execution. Well, that in theory is kind of what would happen here, right? So right now we're running the Docker container ourselves. Whenever we get ready to actually prepare this, what would happen is up here using... Did I take it out? No. So from Docker, what we would do is we would actually go spin up the container and we'd have all the various... we'd have the various options in here kind of auto-generated, like what port we're going to do, what directory we're going to be using for this, yada, yada, yada. And so then it would have a container that it could just constantly go through and basically know then this is going to populate the port right here and make it so that it is, for this instance of browser use, that is its container, right? It's not doing the instantiation yet. Eventually it will. And then basically what we'll do is we'll have a node in the agent. This is a very, very simple React agent right now where it does reasoning, action, and goes in a loop to get it done. This is a good testing agent. I wouldn't put this into, like, I'm not going to use this in the production code. But in the final code, we're not going to be doing this. We'll actually go through and define our own nodes to have it do it. But one thing we'll do is we'll have a node in there that says, hey, go ahead and instantiate the browser. All right, cool. Now we're going to run through the execution loop. Great. Then the ending node would be, we're going to tear down the browser and get it going. Yeah. So that we will get to that point. Right now, we're just running it here in the back end. So I'm running the container manually just for testing to get it going. But yeah, eventually that will be the next step once we kind of know where it's going through this. Let's see. But it sounds like what we need to do is we need to navigate, take a snapshot, and then we can choose to click. Let's see. Let's see. And take a snapshot. Then we can tell it, look for repositories related to Cobalt Strike tools and navigate to that repository to describe the README page. Let me see if I can maybe just wordsmith this a bit, because I think that's the flow that needs to happen here is when you browse or navigate, you need to take a snapshot and then you can do it. The problem we were seeing here though, right, is when it wants to take the snapshot, let's come down here. So we navigate, we get a valid response, right? It gives basically an overview of the page. And then when we next call click, we're getting the no current snapshot available. So I think that might be the issue. Let's go try that. So I'm going to tell it, hey, do this, take a snapshot, and look for repositories related to Cobalt Strike and navigate the repository. So what we could do is, essentially, we would have probably a node in here. Let's kind of diagram this up. How I think this is going to execute. So essentially what we're going to have is we'll have our start node here. We go to init the browser. So we'll initialize the browser, and then we'll have basically, I'm just going to put React in here for now, a reasoning action kind of node. And then once it does that, inside there, we would say, hey, we're going to have a snapshot node in here. So after every action, we're going to hit the snapshot node, then we're going to come back up here and run this again. And eventually then what we're going to have is we're going to have a teardown node here at the end that sends it here, and then finally that'll hit the end node and completely end the agent. What does it persist the files to? That's what I'm not sure. Let's go. That's probably something else that needs to happen, because right now we're only sharing that data directory, right? Over into /data, right? I'll tell you what, let's go look in that directory real fast and just see if we have anything. All right, so yeah, that directory is empty in there. So let's go figure out, where does Playwright, let's see, where does Playwright persist data? Slightly different container, but otherwise like exactly the same, because it's just running Playwright's MCP. Oh, okay, so maybe this is where we need to set it. Perhaps it's the user data dir where we need to set this. Let's see. Playwright user data dir. Which we may be able to set this. Let's see, path to the directory for output files. So I don't know if it's the output one or the user data dir that we need. Path to the user data directory. If not specified, a temporary directory will be created. Maybe that's why. So it's making a new temporary directory every time. I bet that might be it. Victor, thank you for coming online. Welcome in. Hope you're having a fantastic Saturday. We're making progress. The progress is happening. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide. I'm about to lose control, but I think I like it. Yeah, that's what I was just thinking, Brian. Let's do that. Let's give that the good old hack around and find out try. Boop. All right. So what we want to do is tag user data dir. And we'll put that to /data/ I don't know, user? Let's call it that. And then let's go give that a shot. Maybe that will help it with some of its persistent data here. All right, let's run it again. Oh, you know, I just realized we've been spawning browsers in the backend. I'm gonna have to go clean those out. We've had containers getting spawned up. I completely forgot about that because of this code right here. Hold on. Let me go clean. Let's comment that out real fast. And then let's go Hey, that finished really fast. That's a good sign. Let's go. All right. So we navigate. We do a browser install? Wait, what? What the heck happened here? Hold on. Hold on. Maybe I celebrated a bit too soon. All right. So we navigate. The navigate call. Permission denied to user data dir. Rip. Rip-a-roni. Okay. I think this Docker container, however... Yeah, but the problem is since we're respawning it, I have to go change it in the Docker file. The other option is we just go figure out where it's really kind of supposed to go, right? And then we go put it somewhere in there. Hang on, where's our playwright MCP? Where's our Docker file? What user are we using? I think we're using probably user 1000 in here. So user equals a node. So what we could do is probably just go to /home. We probably just go to home node and make a data directory in there and then mount that. That would probably work just fine. And then we don't have to worry about trying to get the stuff in and out of there. So let's make that modification here. It looks like it's trying though. It's giving it the good old college try. So what we'll do is we're going to change this mount location. We're going to do home node data. And then the user data dir is going to be data user. So it's going to be, eventually this part will just be like concatenated together. So it'd be home node data user for that. Go try that. I forgot to comment this out. There we go. Elbane, thank you for going online. Welcome in, and I hope you're having a fantastic Saturday. All right, let's check this out. If I didn't have to go modify the Docker file, Brian, I would do that. I just don't want to. If I could just use the regular good old container, I think that would be fine. Otherwise, we'd have to come in here and we put like the chown right here. Put the chown command. All right. That finished really fast, which either means good things or bad things. Let's go find out. All right, so still want to do a browser install. Rip. Oh, because you know why? I'm an idiot, I think. Hold on. Am I an idiot? Hold on. Yep, I am. This needs to get changed as well. This needs to be changed to here. Yep. I'm a dummy. All right. So this is going to be home node data user. There we go. So we're still trying to use that directory in the root, and that's what we're missing. Okay. Third time's a charm. I gotta work on sitting up. So, fun fact: if you hunch over your keyboard, what's happening is it's causing your pectoral muscles to kind of get tight, and that pulls your back down. You start getting the Mr. Burns hunch. So, posture is very important, guys. Muscles. Okay, it failed again because I can tell just from this brief output that it spat out. So here it's saying home node data user is not. So that's what. Let's do this. Let's go exec into that container real fast. gonna go take a look at it. Let me cd out of this. Let's do Docker containers. Let me clean up some of these real quick. So all these browsers here I need to kill. So let's do Docker container rm. Get rid of that one. Then get rid of this one, and this one. And we're gonna leave robo pages running. Let's just get rid of those. They're still running. Oh yeah, because we never stopped them. Stop all those. There we go. Now we can remove them. There we go. All right, so now if we do a Docker PS, we can see the ones that are running, and we see our playwright run. So what we'll do is we'll do a Docker exec with an interactive terminal, and we're gonna exec over into playwright. We're gonna run some bin bashy. Okay. So all these are owned by root, except those are owned by node. So if we cd here, our present working directory is home node. But, however, see that data, it was created by root. That's what happened here. Not cool, bro. Not cool. Let me try something here. What if we use the app directory? So I'm running as the node user, see that? So if we do, don't get cocky on me, Brian. We need to go change the Docker file to chown some stuff and make some directories will. However, I'm thinking we might be able to come in here and make dir into this directory. Let's go try it. /app/data. Permission denied. Well, I'll be a son of a monkey's uncle. That will fix it in this container, right? Or this image of it. However, I want it to be like consistent where I just have it pull down the container and up it. The permissions are inherited from the host mount namespace. But we're not, hold on. But see, I'm running as Debian. See, I'm not even running as root on this system. Oh, you're talking about change. Oh, I see. You're talking about change that on that directory here. I see. I see. Actually, you know what? I think you just gave me an idea here. Let's clear out of this. Let's cd over into HackBot, specialty agents, browser agent. So /data does get made by root because it's running as Docker. It kills it. So let's sudo rm rf data. And then what we can do now is we can do make dir data. Hold on. Actually, I want make dir tach r, I think. So we'll do data user. Is it capital R? Fine. Just make me the damn directory. There we go. So now if we make these. Oh, the tach P for like to follow the path? Alright. I never remember. Oh, it's for make parents. That's right. Only time the child can make a parent is in Linux. Let me see here. So now if I run this again, and then I'm going to exec back into it. So now if we do... Think about this. Let me cd home. Sweet. So now you might be wondering, hey, I did this as Debian. Why is it showing up as it's owned by Node? It has to do with what's the user ID, for anybody who doesn't know this about Linux. But Debian is just the friendly name. Really, everything's done by a user ID. Default, when you make a new user on Linux, typically it's user ID like 1000. Here, user ID 1000 maps to the node user. So it sees it as being in there. But you know what? Actually, this is perfect because what we can do now with this, let me kill this. We can actually go back to our original iteration of it, which is we can put this back in the root to make it real simple. We can check this to /data. Bam. There we go. Excellent. Because now, if we exec back into here, see how we have our data directory? Right there, see, we have that, it's owned by node. It should work now. Okay. No, Brian, I didn't realize those container permissions flow like that. As much as I've messed with Docker, I never realized that. Let's go try it. Come on, big money. It's doing stuff. So we do browser navigate. Now, I did tell it to take a snapshot. I should take that command out next time. Take screenshot, browser navigate. Hold on, did this take screenshot fail? Let me see. No current snapshot available, even though we did a snapshot here. Okay, so this is weird. Look, browser navigate fires. But you see that? So we get this, but when it does the snapshot, it's still just coming back to that there. All right, let's go exec over into... Where would it be putting this? Is it putting it in temp? Oh, dang it. Surely it's not in the node compile cache. No. Hey, Swish. Yeah, it is. I got tired of trying to find DRM appropriate music, and that playlist is like an hour and a half long. It's great. It's also video game music, so it's meant to be in the background. So that makes up probably about 80% of the playlist. There's a couple other cool tracks from... I think it was Red Siege? Hold on. Let's see here. Music? Yeah, there we go. The Red Siege playlist, though, I think it's busted. Oh, no, it does work. Okay, they fixed it. The playlist, I think, was privated for a little while. But yeah, so there's some songs in there from an offensive security company called Red Siege, and they made some music, put it out, said people can use it. So I got so tired of trying to find and fight, and sometimes music is allowed on one platform and not another, and it crisscrosses. I finally just said F it, and I am only doing music that's good and it's DMCA free, because I got tired of pissing away time dealing with it, to be quite honest. Let's see. So we set the user data directory, but I think there's one other option we need to set here, which is... file name.jpg. Let's see if it returned a file name in here. Let's see. It didn't return which one it actually did, though, in here. See that? But I'm thinking here. And by the way, if you ever do a blog, guys, doing it like this is atrocious. Please use a monospaced font. So we launch Chromium with browser with a persistent context and specify a directory like user data to store the session. So after logging in, the authentication data will be saved in user data. Okay, that's actually something else we could do in here, is we can take this variable here, the user data dir, and change it. I think there's another option here that I'm missing though. Output dir, path to directory for output files. I think I want to adjust this. I think we need to give that one also. So let's check that out real quick. So what we'll do is we'll put the output dir, we'll put that in data output. We'll just drop that right there. Actually, let's go look and see, did it actually give us any data here? I don't think it did. Let's cd to data, cd to user. Huh, actually some folders did come back. Weird that they're not showing up in... Did I get the path wrong on here? Let's see. So it should be home Debian HackBot special agents browser agent / data. Yeah, and we see stuff in here, but why is it not showing up over there? Oh, let me back out of the container. Weird that it's showing up on disk, but it's not showing up over here. Oh, now it is. You took your sweet time. Okay. Got it. That's all right. So now we should have the output directory also show up in here in just a second. So let's go run this again and burn some more tokens. Yeah. Another really good thing about background music or video game music is when it melds into the background, that's its purpose. It doesn't overpower like what's going on. It's meant to be like an enhancer to the experience. So like a lot of times when I would work, I would put on lots of video game music. Skyrim was a big one for me. Did we crash? It's still running. Not getting any telemetry back. Why not? Oh, there we go. So what at the snapshot? Did the snapshot work? See, look at this. Page URL is still about blank whenever it takes the snapshot. So there's something going on where it's not stateful, right? We're browsing. Let me exec back into that guy real quick. So it's not being stored here. Let's see. Where does Playwright store snapshots? I need to include worker info in the async declaration, then I can reference the screenshot call. Not what I was looking for, though. So in here, they're calling the screenshot method on the page that comes back. And you can tell it where to store it. Perhaps it's in config. I think that's where it was storing like the browser and everything. Now that's our Chromium cache reports. Maybe it's in cache. I like it when you can zone in with the perfect music for hours. Dude, me too. Sometimes actually I just don't even listen to any music. Like I put my headphones on and I forget to turn on the music and then I realize it's been like a couple hours. Yeah, so there's something happening where the state information is not being persisted in here. That's what's happening, right? Because kind of what I can see from this output, this is what kind of makes sense to me here. Clear this out real fast. What it looks like happening is our agent is making a call over MCP, right, to the browser. The browser then looks like it's spitting up the page, doing what it was told, and then refreshing it here. So then when we make the next call, we're doing the same thing, right? The browser starts at blank and then does the snapshot. But for some reason, these two browsers are not equal to one another. There's a disconnect between them. Having noise-canceling headphones is, I'm doing that on purpose. Yeah, I understand, man. Especially like, because my kids are homeschooled. So I hear Honey Badger yelling across the house. That kid is so loud. Can I stroke your beard? Yes. I don't even charge for it. Unfortunately, you gotta find a time to meet up with me, and I work from home. And I'm not going to DEF CON this year, unfortunately. So otherwise, I would totally let you. My kids are little turds. They like to like try and knot my beard up and like ball it up and make it look all nasty. I was like, please don't make me look homeless. Come on, guys. I got rid of the homeless look a long time ago. About the time I got married. Let's see if anybody. Let's see. What? Actually, hold on. Before I start searching for this, let me look at something real quick. So whether you save the Playwright MCP session into the output directory. Maybe this is why. Maybe we need to save the session. I'm thinking that's it, because it looks like what we're doing is we're doing the interaction stateless. Playwright MCP stateful. Why does it do that sometimes? Sometimes it just stateful browser. Storage state. So path to store the state file for isolated sessions. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try giving it this save session and save trace to see what it's doing in here. Actually, let's go look for that for you. So Playwright, yeah, session storage. Let's look at this. Do you have anyone who would like to sponsor a new family for the U.S.? So I'm looking to start fresh. And the on welfare, and the wife is pregnant. She has a degree and experience working as a support agent at Microsoft, just like me. Unfortunately, I don't, man. I Really don't. There was a fella that I did help out with that I worked with, and when I was in college, and I worked with him, and I was going to school with him, so it made it really simple to do that. But now, man, I really don't. Personally, I don't know anybody. It's hard living in Canada right now, dude. Canada, I don't know what's been going on up there, but everything has gotten, from what I understand, like the prices of everything has just gone insane in Canada. Like it's ridiculously expensive right now. And I know there's been a lot of areas, even in the U.S., where that's true, particularly like in California. But man, I've heard Canada is even beyond that. Let's see. So Playwright executes tests in an isolated environment called a browser context. The isolation model improves reproducibility and prevents cascading test failures. So tests can load existing authenticated states. This eliminates the need to authenticate in every test and speed up execution. Okay, I'll tell you guys, I had to run to the bathroom, and then we'll take a look at this. But man, dude, we're finally making progress on this browser issue. Then all we have to do is code up the LangGraph agent, and we'll be good. We'll be good. Great. Can't wait. All right, I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. Dang. Stuff that used to be $3 to $4 is now $10. Ooh. Yeah, I don't know what's going on in Canada, dude. I got some family that lives up there, and it's crazy. That's all I got to say. Yeah, but who would be dumb enough to invade Canada? I mean, Canadians are that really nice guy at the bar whenever a fight breaks out, and then they just end up like mute or like just taking out everybody. Canada may or may not have been part of the reason why the Geneva Convention came about. Hey, Cybermind, what's up, dude? Happy Saturday. Yeah, I remember you. uh, there has to be a way to do this. Playwright, MCP, persistence. Cyber, I got no idea what you're typing in there, but it's all blank. Cyber, I'm not sure what's happening there, but you might want to wait just a second for it to clear up. Alright, so where's the persistence? No, you're all right, guy. I understand, man. Let's see. Let's see. So all the logged information is going to be stored in the persistence profile. You can delete it between sessions if you'd like to, or clear it offline. It's located in the user data dir, which we set up. So in isolated mode, each session is started in an isolated profile. So each time you ask the MCP to close the browser, the session is closed and all storage state is lost. So you can provide initial storage state for the browser via the configs or via the storage state option. For some reason, it looks like... Let me take a look at something real quick here. Because I think I might see what's happening. If we come over to... No, this is the wrong system. Hang on. If we look at the tools that are available, right? Let's come over here. So we have browser close. Network requests, navigate, forward, backwards, type. Console messages, evaluate. So it's this browser close here that has, which closes the page. So navigate just says navigate to a URL. What I'm wondering is, do we need to open a browser first? Do we need to create one? So we can list the tabs here. I think we do need the user data dir though. That's the kicker to it. I think the problem is every time we send it something, it's it's not using the same browser. You're thinking this is the one we should specify? Let's go take a look, because when I looked in cache, I don't think I saw MS Playwright in there. Let's go. Let's see. Yeah. Well, okay, I saw that, but what we saw happening in there was something different. I mean, I'm willing to give it a shot. I don't think it's going to change the overall effect, though. Let's see. So I'm going to take out the user data dir and that, and then what I'm going to do is mount this to home node dot cache. And now the kicker here also is that, see how this has a channel value to it? Actually, I'll tell you what. Let me take this out. I'm going to leave this where it was to /data. I'm going to run it. Let me exec back into this real quick. Oh, see, this the cache file hasn't even made yet. That's the weird part. Well, I didn't override it this time, right? I took those off. We'll leave those two values clear. And we're going to try to just use the cache file in here. But I think we actually need it to run for just a second. What is this rate limit error we got? Let's see. Up to 40,000 input tokens. It probably hit a recursive error in here, really. Yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let it just run for a second, and then we'll see it happen. We'll see it make the first tool call in here. Yeah. Okay. So now let me stop this, and let's go look. So there's our cache file, and there's our MS Playwright, and then our, which it looks like that's just our usual information there, Brian. Yeah. Let's see. Check out the new README on my repository. Yeah, man. Let's go check it out. Wait, hang on. Let me get back over to the correct browser. Let's go see. The cloud to local LM lets you access your local AI models from anywhere while keeping complete control over your data and privacy. Run powerful language models like Llama, Mistral, Code Llama on your hardware. Then chat with it through our secure web interface with any device in the world. Nice. So first install Ollama, and then install the cloud to local client, connect and chat. Very cool. Augusta. Nice that you already have dev packages set up, too. This makes my README page look absolutely dog, which it is. I think until we get ready to do the initial alpha release, I'm not going to worry about the README page much. Yeah. But see, notice how, Brian, whenever we were supplying the user data dir, this wasn't here. This directory wasn't showing up. Everything was showing up over in the data dir, which we can see over in here, right? Notice how everything was coming up? When you code with AI, it's really useful to have good documentation first. True. I've got another small agent I'm working on for Grey Hat Warfare. Unfortunately, it's not really well tuned at all. It does a horrible job. I'm going to clean it up and I'm going to release it. Try spawning the container with your data bind mounted to that path. Yeah, it should work. I mean, we'll go try it. Let me back up one directory. Look at something. Yeah. This would be our Chromium profile here. Oops. So let me come down here. We'll exit out of this. This. So here, instead of we'll take out the output dir. And what we'll do is, and we'll take out the user data dir, and we'll change the mount here. So we'll drop this in like this. So now our local data directory in the browser agent is going to be put over into Chrome MCP. And now if we exec back into this, oh, oops, because I copied it. Get this. Get that out. Oh, actually, I need to change that to /user, I think. Yeah, there was a typo in here. Let me kill this. This should be /user out there. There. Oh no, I completely butchered that. Hang on. /user here. There we go. Well, I had a typo in it, but it's fine. So cd to cache. Yeah. And see, so we've got all this stuff in here now. I mean, that would work, but setting the data dir would make it even easier. Check from outside the container. Yeah, I mean, look, if I come over here. New file, file.txt. Rawr. And now if I see, there's our file right there. Yeah. So I knew we were persisting it correctly. I think it's just the problem is, I'm pretty sure this is what's happening here. Is that every time the browser spins up, it's losing kind of like where it was. So there has to be some kind of persistence mechanism that I'm missing in here. Let me try something real quick. Let me take out the snapshot command. I think we're going to run into the same issue though, Brian. Let's try it. bet you dollars to donuts it's gonna have the same issue here. So navigate, click. It's probably gonna say no snapshot. No snapshot available. Stop that. Check for rah rah rah. Oh, I deleted that file. I know this is persisting correctly, right? This data is moving back and forth correctly. What I don't get is, how do I need it to tell it that, hey, you're going to be using the same one here, right? Let me look at something. Tab list, tab new, tab select. Let's look at your call in the snapshot function and confirm the path. Ensure it goes to specified /output. Yeah, I stopped passing the /output in there, I think. Let's see. Yeah, because right now all we're passing in is this one right here. And so I don't see the snapshots in here whenever that was happening. Actually, hang on. Let me try something. Let me back out of this. I did spell specialty agents wrong, didn't I? What did I have output set to before? Yeah, so our output directory was data output. However, we didn't have... Wait, hold on. Is that the issue? Because I didn't make the output directory? Maybe that's what's been causing all this. Try this again, because I'm pretty sure the user data dir and the output dir and mounting those to /data was working correctly. I think it's... forget how to see if it's what the ID is, but Debian's running as UID 1000. Node inside the container is running as UID 1000. Yeah, where does it store that output though? All right, let's do this. Let's run the original one like you were saying. Let me fix this real quick, because this backslash is pissing me off. Let me take that out. Hey, Blue Lele. Thank you for coming online. I hope I said that right. I know I didn't, though. Welcome in. Let's see. All right. This should work just fine, though, Brian. So mounting this over to the data directory, then specifying data user and data output, I think should work. How do you trigger the dial tone? Is that what you're asking, Guy? All right, Brian, I'm holding. You think this is gonna break the persistence? Oh, guys, so the dial tone is anytime someone follows the channel. That's what that is. There are some really great sound alerts, though. For example, the alerts are muted. Dang it. I hope I haven't been missing those. I apologize, guys, if I was missing those. Honey Badger comes in and starts smashing buttons on my stream deck. Dang it. The alert was muted. Envoy Tony, thank you for coming online. Welcome in.
Hello, IT. Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Yes, I have tried turning it off and on many times. Hold on. If you got like your mapping, you swapped out the source port for SSH, so now you're doing attack P. Okay, hold in this command. That specialty agents thing is bugging me now that you pointed out that I misspelled it. Right, we're following the convention for the container. Glasses are broken. Dude, that's wild, guy. That's like Canada is becoming more and more like England. Oh, you got a license for that? Wait, was there already a directory for output? We're back in the container command. You're the only person doing cybersecurity related streams, so I hope you grow. Thanks, man. There's actually, hey, Tony, there's a lot of people that do it. Here, let me drop the link to it again real fast. There's just nobody on at this time of night, but during the daytime, especially during the week, if you look at infosecstreams.com, this will have a list of lots of folks that are on here doing all sorts of stuff. They're doing Try Hack Me, they're doing Hack the Box, they're doing reverse engineering. You name it, they're doing a lot of it. And so check that site out. That's a good place to find folks. Oh, that's because I made the output directory. Right. Yeah. So over here, there was a data directory here, and there was an output. Yeah. Oh, so you're saying go find out what the default location is and then just set it to that? Where's the default output directory? Let's see. Oh, you don't think there is for that? That's fine. We can make this work though. Let's reconfigure this a tiny bit here. What I can do is actually I can rename the user profile to this. I think having set it to /data and then having set the output directories, we're working with the same net effect. This is 6 of one, half dozen of the other. But we'll try this. We'll try this way. Let me see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that. I'm going to rename this directory here, so it matches it. Because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and we're going to mount data over to MS Playwright. And then what we'll do is we'll set the output directory to that. So that should go here. /output. Just try it. Okay. Oh, what's the command? Output tac dir. That's why. The kicker is I don't know what actually goes out into. Actually, I want to do one more thing. There's another option in here where it saved a session. Save the Playwright MCP session into the output directory. I'm going to throw this in here as well. Wait, what do you mean you don't have a save session in here? Documentation is not much easier to read and navigate. Nice. Okay, ads are done. I was trying to run it with save session in here, but let's cd over to cache MS Playwright. So there's our output directory. And there's nothing in there right now. I was trying to set it to use that for output, right? Now, what's weird, though, is check this out. So there's supposed to be a save session command. And it comes back with unknown option. Even though I literally just copied it from here. See that? Whether to save the Playwright MCP session into the output directory. Are the parent permissions inside the container writable by 1000? They should be. Here. Let's see. Yeah. Everything except the 2UP is node writable. Because these are all mapped to, again, like I said, the Debian user on the host system. Yeah. So Debian is the same one here, right? We see user output. These are all 1000 because we're using the same UID here. I think it's just UID. Is that the command? Okay. Where's it to list the UID? Is it just ID? There you go. Yeah, because see, we're running as the 1000 user in here, and inside the container, we're also running as 1000. So since it's only mapping, right, that, it works just fine. So now that we got those kind of going, okay, if it will make you happy, will that make you happy? There, I've shown everything in that directory that's being shared. I still think there's something I'm missing in the playwright workflow, though. That's what I'm thinking. Because it's executing. I tell you what, actually, I want to break on this. I want to do something real quick. I want to see what's in this tools list here. And just confirm something. Yeah. But these were all owned by Debian to begin with, right? See, so we didn't really change anything in here. Hey, Kaiju, what's up, man? Yeah. No, when I looked in here, right? So if I go to, right, all this was owned by. So the cache file is not, however. Oh, I know why the cache file is not. You know why? Because the cache file itself was created. It hasn't been kicked off yet. Hey, Omni1, thank you for coming online. I hope you're having a fantastic Saturday. The cache file is not present whenever the container boots up, so it's making it. So if we CD over there to MS Playwright, that's why this is owned by Node, this is owned by Node, this is owned by Node, but the two up, the .cache file is owned by root because it's initially making that folder as part of the bind mount to the Docker container. Yeah, what we're mounting with TACV, though, is this MS Playwright directory, right? Here. So that one is owned by Node, which is correct, and so are all the subdirectories. However, this one, .cache, is owned by root because it doesn't exist because, what's it called? Playwright hasn't made it yet. So this is fine, right? We can still, I can still come in here and just echo foobar. We have full write permissions onto this, right? And we can see that right here. Well, here, we can actually see it here. We have read, write, execute on the current directory. I dare say it does, though, because look, I just wrote to the directory. And I'm running as the node user. I'm not exec into these containers as root. Let me try something here, because we have another option where we can actually trace the session here. Let me try the save trace, even though the save session didn't work for some reason. Oh, really? We can actually view this? Oh, I'm not exposing that though. That's okay, because we can go see it over there. I'm curious about that though. Well, I want to try running this real fast. Actually, here, let me look at this. So in our tools directory, browser close. Let me look for the navigate here. So we have navigate. Args. So for args, all we have is a URL here, right? Let me go find this tool here. What is it? Browser underscore navigate. Let me look for something in here. Hey, GG1, thank you for coming online. Welcome in, and I hope you're having a fantastic Saturday. I'm trying to call up those. I know exactly what path we'll use in the directory inside the container. If it's not working now, there's something broken with the directory structure being presented to Docker when it's setting up the mount space. No, it's not that there's something broken. It's that .cache file doesn't get created until you issue some command over to Playwright. That's what we were kind of seeing. I think that's what's happening here. Let me look at this navigate real quick.
Bullshit, I can't hear you. Sound off like you got a pair.
I know you can. Right. You guys in that sound is supposed to be for whenever. Oh, look at this. Type destructive. Interesting. So whenever you guys, you can't hear me now, I'm like talking on mute. Instead, y'all just play it whenever you damn well feel like, and you give me trust issues. Hold on. What is this type destructive here? So this navigates us to a URL. This is a type read only. So we have navigate, go back, and go forward. So go forward is a read only. Go back is a read only. For some reason, though, in this tool definition, there's a type here in this schema that says it's a type destructive. What does that actually mean? So weird. For this repo, what does type destructive indicate? Let me see. Hey, Oreo. Dude, we're finally getting the browser to start working. However, it's acting in a rather stateless way. So what's happening here is... So we have our agent, right? It's calling over to our Playwright MCP browser. It loads up a page, that's fine. But then when you send another request to the browser to like take a screenshot of the page, and then it's throwing an error saying, hey, I don't have a snapshot to work with whenever it comes back. So for some reason, browser A and browser B are not in sync here. We're trying to figure out why. Where's the stateless aspect coming in here? Because if this is only going to work this way, it's going to be absolutely dog crap. Destructive type indicators serve several important purposes. Safety classification distinguishes between tools that are read-only or observed data versus those that can modify or delete. User awareness, risk management. Okay. So it's not indicating that it's doing anything bad. I was like, I don't know what this thing is doing here. Biggest advice I can give anyone who uses AI to code, make sure to work on your documentation and make sure there's no confusion within that documentation. Take some time and effort on refactoring as often as possible. If you don't do that, it'll mess up all the context and do stupid stuff. Yeah. And see, I'm trying not even to. I actually had planned to. I thought about, hey, let's come take a look at this, and maybe Claude will come up with a decent solution for it. And you guys know me. I've been avoiding using any kind of AI code in this whatsoever, except for one specific area. But now, for some reason, I think it's just killing me. Let me look at something. Let me look at the package JSON real fast. Let me see here. So we have, what are our script options here? Run server. Is the plan to have HackBot have some kind of history tracking system for to use something like target A and see how the action's done between the recon and testing? Yeah, pretty much. So it's already got task tracking and it's got host tracking in there. And so it's able to track, eventually we'll be able to track multiple hosts, and it's got the functionality, we just haven't tested it against that yet. And the idea here is that the first test case has a web exploit where we drop a PHP web shell and then we use that to get command execution. At that point, it should have what's called the initial access payload, which is a payload that you can, basically like a little scriptlet that you can run, and it gives you one command of execution. Then that should get handed off to the post-exploitation tool, and the post-exploitation tool's job is to upgrade that to a C2 agent. That's its job. Don't wait too long because the AI stuff will help you work faster. I know it will, but I'm trying to actually embrace the struggle because I want to understand kind of what it's doing. That was why, because we've been working on the browser for weeks now, trying to find a workable solution. So at that point, I have embraced the struggle enough that, okay, let me see what it's suggesting and we can work through it in here. And I already know the code here is not functional because it's doing stuff in a weird way. I could tell from the way it's going, but it did give me some ideas. And then thankfully, Brian came in and he's like, hey, you could just do it this way. Okay, let's try it. Actually, there is a little bit of code from here that I'm probably going to use, and that is this guy right here. Where's our artifacts? Let me see. That's our setup document. Where is it? There we go. This one right here, I'm probably going to make use of this. I'm going to change it up though, because this is expecting it to run local and not in the Docker container, I believe. And so, oh no, it is. Okay. So this right here, this little chunk of code might be helpful, where we're actually going to go set up the browser agent to replicate kind of the thought and execution flow of what browser use did. However, I'm not to this point yet. We're still in a little bit of a testing phase. Hey, Tony, what's up, man? Anyone know if I should bother with the portfolio for DevOps engineering? I'm looking to transition from systems engineering to DevOps. Oh, thanks for coming online, Tony. Welcome in, man. Dude, I think a portfolio of some of the tech stuff you've done is really handy, especially if you're doing DevOps. So, for example, if you put together a list of like orchestration systems or examples of, hey, here's how you could go set up an example system over here. I never really worked too deep in DevOps, but I get the idea of it. So yeah, a portfolio is great, especially if you take another idea like, hey, somebody had a really cool lab. Here's a way to maybe automate the deployment of it or the testing of it, things like that. I think everybody should have like a GitHub style portfolio. Yeah, definitely, man. No worries. Let's see. Basics about containerization. Dude, you know what's funny about that, Brian, is actually I was really like, what is the point of even Docker to begin with? And now I do so much in Docker. Typically, what I do is I go write wrapper scripts for like different tools. So, for example, I've got one for Bbot. I've got one for um, what was that other tool? Buff. I've got one for Ferox Buster. I just run the tools inside the Docker container. And I just pass directories back and forth, and I have those directories embedded in the script. That's what I do each time. I'm trying to see where this is running here. Let's see. That's right. Let's look at the package JSON to see what it's running in here. I think it's just running the CLI though. Actually, it might just be running libbrowserserver.js. Actually, it's been a while since I looked at one. Usually, don't they specify an entry point in the package.json? Yeah, it was going to CLI.js. That's what was confusing me. I'll tell you what, let's go hop into that container real quick. Let's hack around and find out. No CLI.js. Now, see, this is interesting because see here we do have save trace. I guess maybe the documentation is outdated because in here, I think it was state. No, save session, and like in here, I don't see save session. Unless this container is outdated for some reason. Yeah, this is really weird. Because I do see save session in here, but I don't see save session in here. Maybe we should just git clone and build the Docker container ourselves instead of pulling it. I think let's do that. I'm not sure. So we were pulling this from an MCP branch, and that's what I'm wondering about. I tell you what, let's do this. I think I want to do this. I think I know the way. Didn't mean to do that. That's all right. Let me do this. I'm going to clone this down and build the container. Actually, they may already have the Docker file in here. Nah, I'm just going to screw it. I'm just going to do it. All right. Let's see. Because eventually, I'll set up a series of Docker containers for this. And let's do Docker build.t. We'll call this playwright. And latest build from here. Hey, John, what's up, man? The thing is, I got it from a weird spot, Brian. So, Big John, we're making progress on setting up a browser for HackBot. So, browser with a Playwright MCP server. And so it should be able to like actually go through and navigate to the web pages for these CTF challenges and work on doing our exploitation. I mean, the other thing I could do, Brian, is I could go pull it. Let me see. Let's see. So this is using Playwright version 0031 inside the container. And in here, oh, that's a, hang on, go find the package. And see, this is using 0032. And so I pulled the Docker container from a weird repository. Oh, I see what you're saying. That's not what I wanted to do. Dang it, go back. It's not any other. Hold on. Browse files. There we go. Get that commit hashing. Yeah, so we don't have, so that's the difference here. So we're running 3.2. 3.3 is the latest one up on there. And yeah, we're missing that save session in here. So that explains why it's missing. Sorry, I saw your message. Like, no, top left, up. Team and I are being interviewed by Jason Haddox at DEF CON. Dude, nice. That's pretty sick, man. At the Bug Bounty Village. Cool, guys. John over on YouTube is saying that they're going to be over at the Bug Bounty Village. So definitely go drop in and check in on them. Oh, wait, can you check it? Have I been doing this the hard way the whole time? I probably have. I tend to do things the hard way. It's probably the math guy in me. On Sunday? Dude, that's so much easier than what I was doing. I guess I never realized that. I've literally, the way you saw me do it is how I always go browse the code from the different branches. Hey, John, what time are y'all having your interview at the Bug Bounty Village? That's where I just was. And so, see, the README, this one is missing the... Actually, no, look, even this one has the save session. Oh, no, sorry, I clicked the wrong one. This should be 031. There we go. Okay, so from 10 to 11 at the Bug Bounty Village at DEF CON. Okay. Cool, guys. If y'all are available, go check that out. Yeah, this year I'm not going. I was at, I think the last one I got to go to was in 23. And I was there through, I flew in on Friday. I did not fly out again until the next Sunday. Because I flew in on Friday. I was teaching at Black Hat Saturday through Tuesday. And then I stayed Wednesday for Black Hat. And then Thursday through Sunday for DEF CON. And so I was in Vegas for 11 days. That's 8 days more than I'm willing to tolerate Vegas. Dude, I would like to. I'll probably make it out next year because I'm working on becoming a trainer for my company. And if that's the case, then they'll probably fly me out for DEF CON, for Black Hat training next year. And I probably will stay through DEF CON. Golly. Drawing a blank. Okay. Did it finish building? It did. All right, let me exit out of this. We're gonna have an unnamed container now. Do this. Let me exit out of here. So this is the one we just were using. So I'm gonna get rid of this one right here real quick. So Docker image rm MCP playwright. You go bye-bye. And then I'm gonna run this same one here. Save session and save trace. And then all we have to do is just modify this and take out that MCP preload. Yeah, I know I'm doing it the hard way. Wait, what? Unknown option for port? Hold on. Hold the phone. What do you mean you don't have port as an option? Oh. You know what I just realized? Hang on. Let's go look at the Docker file real quick. So this is the one we just cloned down, right? This should be the entry point. Why is it trying to run tail? Yeah, but the entry point... Hold on. One sec. Tail Docker file. Why did it set the edge? Wait a sec. I'm losing my mind here. Why is the entry point different? Okay, yes, fine. There was no reason to rebuild the container. Yes, yes. All right, hold on. No, there wasn't. No, the issue is it's 11 o'clock and the stream's about to end and I'm losing my mind. So I was in the MCP browser agent, which is a completely different library. And this was supposed to be in Playwright MCP. Okay. Playwright's going bye-bye. Docker RM. Let's kill that. And then I'm going to go ahead and kill this. Playwright MCP. Let me go find the Docker container for it. Playwright MCP Docker. Oh, it's up on Docker Hub. No, I don't want the ones from the MCP one, though. It's not what I want. Hershey's Cookies and Cream on Amazon Prime look really compelling. Yeah, there is. I just got to find the darn container. This was actually, hold on. So this was the one I had pulled, right? Where's Playwright? Yeah, so here we can... Oh, that's where it is. It's this one that I want. I think it's Docker pull this. There. That's what I was trying to find. All right, what we'll do is we'll go sub that in for the Docker container. No, it's because I was running the one from that MCP org, and so it looks like it was a version off. No, I don't chase rainbows. I chase waterfalls. That's an old reference. If you get that, you're very old like me. Let me change this here. Actually, let me go find that real quick. I don't want to go there. Stop it. That's the playwright image. Yeah, that's what I was thinking real quick here. The problem is, it looks like, I'm not familiar with this, but did freaking GitHub just shunt everything over to it? Because for tags, this one only has latest. See that? Kinslayer gets me. Don't go chasing waterfalls. That's right. I'm just going to rebuild it. See, that's the kicker here. I'm trying to figure out where the container actually is so I can pull that particular version for the tag. When did they... What I really want... I want this save session option here. Wait, was this in 032? Hang on. Yeah, it wasn't 032. But for some reason, we pulled this container here. Yeah, this was the one we pulled, MCP Playwright. When I pulled this, it was running 031. See that? So when was 032 committed? Yesterday, that's why. That's why. The container was built 5 days ago. They committed 032 with the save session option yesterday. Mystery solved. Probably on GHRC, on GitHub. Yeah, it probably is. Let me see. I think that's where we go. Yeah, that's not it. Yeah, no kidding. Typically, I would like to use a tagged version in there. Let me see, because this package JSON I think is running. It still says 032. I want this 032. Okay, I'm gonna do it again. I'll do it again. I'm gonna clone it. I'm gonna build it. But instead of calling this latest, we'll call it Playwright Tech MCP. what was it? 0032. 0.0.32. Ah. There we go. Well, the good news is we should still have a lot of the Docker cache in there, so it should build pretty fast. It probably is. I don't know if it's browsable though, Brian. And it used to be. Like, you could see it, but you couldn't see like a lot of the Docker information. It's fine. I don't mind just building the container. Try something here. I get tired because I'm having trouble typing. Microsoft Docker registry. What would this be? DevOps tools? Oh, search. There we go. Playwright. Playwright MCP. There we go. Tags. What tags do we have? That's where we could have pulled it from. Okay. If you build it. Oh, let me do this right. There you go. Yeah, it looks like, Brian, it looks like we can from here, from the Microsoft Artifact Registry. Yeah. Which one's the latest version? So 032, I guess, is the latest one they're supporting. It doesn't matter. None of this matters. I got it, though. We've got it now as Playwright. Playwright map. Because I'm an idiot. I'm gonna screw up this command one day. Oh God, don't run that. All right, kill that. Okay, so we already have this one right here. Okay, great. So we will basically have the same one, but at least now I know what it's tagged as. So we can use this tag here. There. Ha! Alright, now, hopefully, HackBot specialty. Can't believe I just spelled that. Make RM foobar out of there. Let me try running this one more time, and then unfortunately we're gonna have to wrap up the stream there. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Use browser to navigate to a page first. Yep, so it's still acting not stateful. But let's go see what data we actually got out of this. Look at that. So it keeps initiating new sessions whenever this happens. I think this might be a problem here. Hold on. I think this is actually a problem here. This MCP client. I think it's treating it as stateless. All right, that's what we're going to start troubleshooting tomorrow. Because everything I'm seeing says it should be acting in a stateful manner, right? Oh, I understand the path mappings. And I get your logic for it. It's just not the way I would usually have done it up here. Typically, what I would have done is pass this to something like just slash data, and then have that directory kind of prepared and already set up in here. Make sure it was, properly groomed and everything. And then have changed it to where like, hey, the output dir was slash data something, save session, save trace, yada, in there. So actually, let's go look at these sessions real quick here. So we're saving these to output. So if we come down here, CD over to output. What do we have in here? We have nothing. Actually, in some of these we do. Oh, that's in our traces. Okay. Yeah, this is wild. So look at this. So in session 1, we have nothing. Session 2, we have a snapshot YAML and a session.md. Yeah, that's the problem here. I think it's the MCP client. I think that's the problem. I think it's reinitializing the connection every time. Hold on, I gotta scroll back up to see what was number 3. That was a while ago. Just want the browser so we can hack all the things. Let me see. Make sure you call the snapshot function, uses the full URL. See, that's what I think is happening here. I don't think it actually is the snapshot function. Make sure the path matches the prefix of TAC output. I mean, it seems to be, but here's the thing I'm looking at though. See how it's making all these new sessions every time? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here, right? I bet if I go back to the trace, I'm going to see 5 tool calls. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there was probably number 5 happening here before I killed it. In fact, I know there was number 5. I bet if I come down here, look, there's another navigate. That's our 5th tool call right there. So there's got to be something in here, in the MCP client server, that even though this is streamable HTTP, this is treating it as stateless. We need this to be stateful. So XDG open PNG. Did we? I think that was an output. So let's look at this YAML file here. So here's information about the BlaiseBits GitHub page, basically saved in here. Now, what does session.md do? Well, let's go check a look at it real quick. All right, I'll check this one more thing and then have to call it a night. Let's see. Okay, dang it. Docker PS. Oh, it was Playwright. Okay. Forgot that's what I called the container. Look, only thing in the cache file is MS Playwright. And then here's everything that we have mounted in there. Have a good night, guy. Thanks for stopping in, man. Keep your head up, bro. No, the MCP Chromium profile got added just now, basically. So I don't think we had it in there before. I know. We're making good progress, but we're going to have to debug the workflow a little bit with this. Like I said, my primary suspect is this piece of code right here. I'm willing to bet the multi-serve MCP client. Maybe this is the wrong one to use, but for some reason it's not actually streaming to HTTP. I'm willing to bet it's making multiple calls and every time it's spawning a new session. Yeah. Okay. For grins and giggles, I mean, I know nobody's on here, but is anybody on InfoSec streams? Negative. All right, so let's go find somebody to raid it to. If you have a raid suggestion, please shout them out. I take any and all suggestions. Let's see. Who do we have that's online? Who's online that we could do? Thanks for all your help, man. I really appreciate it. You definitely have opinionated opinions on the Docker setup. I usually take a different approach, but I appreciate all the input and advice you've been giving because it's gotten quite a bit of advancement. Because once we get the browser working, then we can actually just code out the agent, be done with it, and get back to the exploitation agent, which is all I really want right now. That's all I really want. Let's see. Miller's on playing Repo, man. He's funny. Astronomy shows also on. Let's see. See too many else on. That's it. We got a fellow over here, Warner, doing some game dev. Go right over to him.
And if not, we...
Yeah, let's go do that. Since nobody else is online doing some hacking, we'll go do some gaming. All right, guys, that is unfortunately where I've got to end it. Thank you all for coming to hang out. Have a good time. We're hacking on this. The browser is making progress. Finally, things are starting to look up. I'm walking on sunshine-ish. Still a little overcast. We'll get this thing crushed. We can get back to the hacking. Sometimes fighting your tools, though, is a very important part of the challenge. It's going to happen. This is an extreme case, but you know what? Extreme cases are what build extreme resolve. That's what I got for you. Everyone, tomorrow, I hope you have a fantastic Sunday. If it's already Sunday, I hope you continue having a really awesome day. And I want you all to remember one thing, and that is, I love you. Peace.
Wait, no, I don't think so. Well, let me just double check. I'm gonna